Welcome back to Pulp Film Lab. I bet you're so happy you're back because commercials aren't fun unless they're commercials from our sponsors.
We're joined in studio now with Scotty Milder, local filmmaker. Scotty, tell us about yourself.
Hey.
Tell us one thing about yourself that's unrelated to film.
I'm very large.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a large man. I'm by far the biggest person in my family.
And this is something most people can notice pretty quick.
Yeah.
I noticed this myself.
Yeah, like right away.
Right.
Boom, large. And you were from Los Alamos originally, yeah?
Right. Grew up there, born and raised.
Do you think it has to do with the radiation?
That would make sense, because I am freakishly larger than anyone else I'm related to.
It would probably make sense in the world of Plan 9. Like, that kind of logic might work there.
Right, right. I've actually gone for Halloween as Tor Johnson's character.
No way, because you know what? He's kind of a big guy, too. I
kind
think
of a
he
big
even
guy
says in the film, I'm a big guy.
You shave your head, yeah.
Well, he's like 4 years in the Marine Corps, but that hasn't happened yet.
No, spoiler alert.
Spoiler
4
alert,
years in the Marine
he
Corps.
talks about being in the Marine Corps.
So you've seen this film before, of course. Do you remember the first time you saw it, your reaction or anything?
I think I was 12 or 13, and I don't think I knew the reputation for being the worst film ever made, so it really was just a matter of watching it being like, what am I watching? Yeah, I mean, it was really, I had never seen anything that astoundingly bad before. I've seen a lot. Actually, I don't think it's quite the worst movie ever made. I've seen stuff that's worse.
Definitely.
Since, but when you're not prepared for it, it's a whole new experience.
And when we were watching it out loud, I was like hating on it a little bit. Like, I really enjoy this film, but I was, what? No, come on, those sight lines are whack. But at the same time, you know, it's just so much easier nowadays to make a movie with the technology we have. They couldn't like check the shots and I don't know.
Sometimes I like to imagine, like, when I'm watching a film like this, that like that's just the world that exists. Like, people talk dumb. It's not bad acting. It's like that's the world, and like spaceships do move like that.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
normal.
it almost reminds me of when I was a kid. I remember, reading Dr. Seuss books, and then you start thinking in like that Dr. Seuss cadence. When you watch a movie like this, you start like normal human dialogue or normal human conversation suddenly sounds weird because you get so wrapped up in the weird, like Criswell stilted kind of.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'll go back and check, Captain.
Yeah.
Sure will. just like,
Right.
nice. That was my impression of Ed Wood dialogue. Yeah. So as a filmmaker, I would say that you are pretty dark. Not specifically just horror, but everything that you like to make kind of has a dark tilt to it.
Yeah, I'm one of those people I'm kind of blessed or cursed with that kind of imagination where I can always imagine the worst case scenario, which usually will end up with zombies or vampires in there somewhere. So like if I don't hear from a friend, I immediately assume they're dead in a ditch somewhere, and I imagine the blood and the pus and all that stuff.
But then you're happy when they're okay.
Yeah, no,
So-
it makes life interesting because you get, you get sort of
Relieved all the time.
relieved a lot.
And then when it's not relieving news, you're like, good thing
Right.
I was prepared for that.
I know,
You
exactly.
constantly live in a state of like pushing on a bruise.
A little bit, yeah.
Relief is worth it.
Yeah. Well, awesome. We'll be back later with more Scotty Milder and his dark imaginings and a little bit more about what's coming up for you.
Yeah.
And now let's return to Ed Wood's Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Then as swiftly as they had come, they were gone, even to the piercing eye of radar and the speeding jet fighters.
Quite a sight, wasn't it, sir?
A sight I'd rather not be seeing.
Are you worried about them, sir?
Well, they must have a reason for their visits.
Visits? Well, that would indicate visitors. Well, the big gun's the usual way of welcoming visitors.
We haven't always fired at them.
Oh?
For a time, we tried to contact them by radio, but no response. Then they attacked a town. A small town, I'll admit, but nevertheless a town of people. People who died.
I never heard about that, sir.
Well, it was covered up by the higher echelon. Take any fire. Any earthquake, any major disaster, then wonder. Flying saucers, Captain, are still a rumor, officially.
Looks like we beat them off again, sir.
What do they want? Where are they from? Where are they going?
They, sir? Who? Well, this is a training maneuver, sir. We only did a little practice firing at the clouds.
Yeah. I wonder what their next move will be.
What will their next move be?
Your space commander has returned from Earth.
Send him in. You have your report?
We had to pull in here to Space Station 7 for regeneration. We're returning to the planet Earth immediately thereafter.
What progress has been made?
We contacted government officials. They refuse our existence.
What plan will you follow now?
Plan 9. It's been absolutely impossible to work through these Earth creatures. Their soul is too controlled.
Plan 9. Ah, yes. Plan 9 deals with the resurrection of the dead. Long-distance electrode shot into the pineal and pituitary glands of recent dead. Have you attempted any of this plan as yet?
Yes, Excellency.
How successful has it been?
We have risen too so far. We shall be just as successful on more.
The living, they have no suspicion of your movements?
We had to dispose of one policeman. However, none of those risen have been seen. At least not by anyone who still remains alive.
It's too bad it must be handled this way. But it must. Those who we take from the grave will lead the way for our other operations.
Yes, Excellency.
Continue on. Report to me in 2 Earth days.
I feared His Excellency wouldn't take our report this well.
Well, had he been dealing with our own people, his reaction would have been completely different. He understands the difficulties of the Earth race.
What do you think will be the next obstacle the Earth people will put in our way?
Well, as long as they can think, we'll have our problems. But those whom we're using cannot think. They are the dead, brought to a simulated life by our electrode guns. You know, it's an interesting thing when you consider the Earth people who can think are so frightened by those who cannot, the dead. Well, our ship should be regenerated. We better get started.
I still think you ought to go in town and stay with your mother until I get back.
This is our home, and nothing's going to take me from it. Besides, most men try and keep their wives from going home to Mama.
That's not the point.
That's all the point there's going to be. Now, toddle off and fly your flying machine, darling. But if you see any more flying saucers, will you tell them to pick another house to buzz? Be careful. Don't worry about me.
Oh, you're the only thing I do worry about. Oh, forget about the flying saucers. They're up there. But there's something in that cemetery. And that's too close for comfort.
The saucers are up there. And the cemetery's out there. But I'll be locked up in there. Now, off to your wild blue yonders.
You promise you'll lock your doors immediately?
I promise. Besides, I'll be in bed before half an hour is gone, with your pillow beside me.
My pillow?
Well, I have to have something to keep me company while you're away. Sometimes in the night when it does get a little lonely, I reach over and touch it. Then it doesn't seem so lonely anymore.
A crazy kid. I do love you, darling. See you Thursday.
Goodbye, honey.
You know I'm not leaving you here until you're locked safely inside.
All right, darling. If you're especially nice, I may even lock the side door.
And be sure you keep the yard lights on.
You're mighty silent this trip, Jeff.
Hmm?
You haven't spoken 10 words since takeoff.
I guess I'm preoccupied, Danny.
We've got 33 passengers back there that have time to be preoccupied. Flying this flybird doesn't give you that opportunity.
I guess you're right, Danny.
Paula?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong between you two.
Oh, no, nothing like that. Just that I'm worried, she being there alone and those strange things flying over the house and those incidents in the graveyard these past few days. It's just got me worried.
Well, maybe they haven't figured out those crazy skybirds yet, but I'd give you 50 to 1 odds the police have cleared up that cemetery thing by now.
I hope so.
If you're really that worried, Jeff, why don't you radio in and find out? Mac should be on duty at the field by now. He could call Paul and relay the message to you.
Hi, Edie.
Hi, Silence. I haven't heard a word from this end of the plane since we left the field.
I've just been giving himself and me a study in silence.
You boys aren't feuding.
No, Edie, nothing like that.
Hey, Edie, how about you and me balling it up in Albuquerque?
Albuquerque? Have you read that flight schedule, boy?
What about it?
We land in Albuquerque at 4 a.m. That's strictly a 9 o'clock town.
Well, I know a friend that'll help us.
Let's have the problem first. Huh, Danny?
Oh, he's worried about Paula.
I read about that cemetery business. I tried to get you kids not to buy too near one of those things. We get there soon enough as it is.
He thought it'd be quiet and peaceful there.
No doubt about that. It's quite all right, like a tomb. I'm sorry, Jeff. That was a bad joke. Say, I almost forgot what I came in here for. How's the coffee situation?
That's for me.
It sure wouldn't hurt a thing, Edie.
Okay, be right back. And say, Jeff, make that call to Mac.
Nah, not only she throw cold water on my Albuquerque plan, but now she's repeating herself. How about that Albuquerque ball?
I can't resist your charm, Danny boy.
Residents near the cemetery paid little attention to the blast of thunder and the flash of lightning. But from the blast arose the moving figure of the dead old man.
Hello? Who? Mac? Well, hi, Mac. Sure, I'm all right. I just fell asleep. Tell Jeff I'm all right. Okay, Mac. Thanks for calling. Good night.
We'll be at the hatch in a moment. You can open it now, Tanner. Turn off the electrodes quickly. They can't tell us from anyone else.
It's tough to find something when you don't know what you're looking for.
I don't think the lieutenant does either.
Then what are we doing out here? I was off duty an hour ago.
Oh, don't ask me any questions. I'm just a hard hand just like you.
What do you suppose that noise was?
Whatever it was, it's no more strange than the other things happening around this cemetery.
Spirits like old Farmer Calder talked about.
Well, maybe.
The only spirits he saw tonight were those I smelled on his breath.
Oh, don't forget, Miss Trent claims to have seen them, too. She didn't have anything on her breath.
She was hysterical.
Well, true, she was frightened and in a state of shock. But don't forget that torn nightgown and the scratched feet.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Guess that's why you're a detective lieutenant and I'm still a uniformed cop.
Sometimes it's only the breaks, Larry. Meantime, let's get going.
Lieutenant, did you hear that?
How could we help it? It sure was strange.
Know what it was?
No more than you do. If it went for orders, I'd get out of here right now.
It was a saucer.
A flying saucer? What makes you say that?
Do you remember the noise we heard the other night?
We were knocked to the ground. How could I forget?
Exactly. But you're not remembering that sound.
There you're wrong, Lieutenant. I'm with the fact the sound is similar, but what about the blinding light?
Well, haven't you heard? And many times the saucer hasn't had a glow. Or a light of any kind, for that matter.
That proves it. What next, Lieutenant?
Oh, Lieutenant, maybe this doesn't mean much, but Jamie Mee found a grave that looks like it's been busted into.
What? Where?
Why?
Come on, man, out with it. We haven't got all day to waste.
Oh, just over there beyond the crib.
All right, show us the way.
Look, here it is, Lieutenant.
It's been broken into, all right.
Strange. If someone had broken in, the dirt should be piled up here somewhere. It looks like it's fallen into the grave.
Larry, you'll be out of that uniform before you know it.
Do we have the right to look down there, Lieutenant?
Technically, no.
No?
Well, this spot looks familiar, though. We shouldn't investigate any further without the permission of next of kin.
Let's go get it.
How? I see what you mean. The gravestone's down there.
Well, let's go down and find out whose grave it is.
How?
By going down and finding out.
Are you sure you mean that, Lieutenant?
If I didn't mean it, I wouldn't have said it.
Scared?
Well, why do I always get hooked up with these spook details? Monsters, graves, bodies. Oh, all right. Casket's here, but nobody's in it.
Can you read the name on the casket?
It's too dark. Give me a flashlight.
How about a match?
We sure could try it. Let me have them.
Okay.
It's Inspector Clay's grave, but he ain't in it.
Whoa, spaceship. The ghouls are aboard the spaceship, not abroad. They're in America. And we're back in studio with Scotty Milder, our guest. So you've brought in a trailer for us to view. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is a trailer for my first feature film, Dead Billy, which we shot mostly here in Albuquerque. We shot one scene in LA and then a bunch of stuff up in Colorado.
What was the LA scene that needed to be done in LA?
There's a scene with our one kind of name actor, a guy named Gordon Clapp, who, if you guys ever watched NYPD Blue, he played Detective Medavoy in NYPD Blue.
Okay, all right.
And a friend of mine, he's been in a short film of mine before, so we were able to kind of get him to do the movie.
You had to go to him.
But we kind of had to go
That's
to him.
right.
So
good.
he has one scene where he plays the main character's father. And so we drove out there to shoot that.
Cool, fun, nice.
But I'd say 90% of the movie shot here in New Mexico.
Good. And the talent's almost all local?
Almost all,
just
except for him.
Actors, but crew as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. We had one other actress from LA, but almost everyone else. Oh, and our Billy character is actually a guy named John Hardy, who's part of a theater company in Virginia called Barter Theater.
Cool, very cool.
Brought him out for it.
So please, audience, enjoy this trailer to Dead Billy.
Calliope Gerard. Will you marry me? So, was it a stroke or something?
Well, Calliope experienced what we call a tonic-clonic event, or what was referred to as a grand mal seizure back in the Middle Ages. It can be triggered by a number of things. Stress, malnutrition, flashing lights. Were you watching television when this happened? Tell me, Calliope, have you been seeing things or hearing voices or anything like that?
I think maybe this isn't a great idea. I'm old enough to be your father.
You're not my father.
Hey, look at me. You sure?
Yeah. I have to go somewhere to talk to somebody.
Him.
I don't want to talk to him or see him. I just need to know where he is.
Do you still want him?
Don't break my heart.
Him? And then this man? Is that who you want to be?
Don't dash my hope. Love can be hard in me. Doubt the stars are afire. Doubt the song that it does move.
I guess maybe that's why they call me Dead Billy.
Doubt the truth to be a liar, but never doubt.
I want to see it.
It looks hilarious.
Feel-good movie for the whole family.
Feel-good movie of the year.
Lots of cigarettes and hotel rooms and stuff like that. Looks
Right.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mom's going to love it. Very cool. Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, simple, but are you proud? You happy with the product?
Yeah, I'm very proud of it. It's, you know, we did it, we raised the money on Kickstarter, did it for just over $30,000, and, but it was very ambitious on that budget. And, you know, the final product, I mean, I think we're all very happy with it. It's definitely out there. It's a different, it's not like a lot of other things, which is what I keep hearing from people who've seen it.
Which I think is what people want nowadays. You know, like we've seen all the movies. Let's mix it up a little
Well,
bit.
you know, we really had the philosophy of, you know, we're doing this on our own. I'm working with producers in Hollywood on scripts, and you're so limited on what you can do. You know, you're trying to kind of please a marketplace, and this was something we were doing on our own. We really just felt like, let's just do this on our terms. Let's do a story we want to tell that nobody else could tell. Let's not worry about the marketplace. Let's not worry about making people happy. Let's just make something that's kind of from the heart.
And I think you have a chance with that, then, not to hit everyone with it, but the few people that are really into it, they're going to really connect with this kind of work.
Yeah, and I'm finding more and more these movies that I'm liking are ones that don't fit into a specific genre. Like, I wouldn't say this movie, it looks like a horror film, but it's
got horror elements.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of thriller elements, psychological thriller, but also it's very much like a character drama, you know, about a very particular situation that was actually sort of drawn from real life. Someone that I knew kind of briefly about 15 years ago was kind of the inspiration for the movie. So.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I want to meet that lady.
Yeah.
Do I? Awesome. Well, I really want to see that movie, and I hope it does well. Thank you for joining us, Scotty.
Oh, cool. All right, so Scotty, can you tell the audience and us even where we can find more about Dead Billy or see the trailer again?
Yeah. Well, the trailer is on Vimeo page for Redefined Entertainment. It's another local company that partnered with us. But you can also find it at www.deadbillythemovie.com. And, of course, we have a Facebook page. It's just Dead Billy the Movie on Facebook. So.
Cool. Sounds good. Great. All right. We're going to go out to a commercial now, and we'll be back with a little more Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Which of these celebrities does not own a home in New Mexico? Katy Perry, Val Kilmer, Julia Roberts, or Bruce Willis?